Okay, good morning. Good morning, conservation voters, or whatever time it is when you happen to be seeing this video. I'm Aliki Moncrief, and I'm the Executive Director of Florida Conservation Voters. I'm joining you here from our home base here in Tallahassee, Florida, where it's actually kind of chilly today. We're so excited this morning to be officially talking about our newest program, Chispa Florida, which is going to be officially launching next week. So this is kind of a sneak peek into some really fun events that our Chispa team has planned for next week. The Chispa program is going to be based out of Kissimmee. Actually, not is going to be, is based out of Kissimmee, and our team is growing. So we're going to have even more impact in 2021, more than we ever have before. So today I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce you to the Chispa Florida team and to let you know about a few of the things that our team's going to be focusing on right now. So if you haven't gotten our emails or seen elsewhere, we've been sort of starting to talk about Chispa Florida. It is an organizing program that is specifically focused on building the power of Latino, Black, and other communities of color to protect our rights to clean air and water and a safe climate for generations to come. The work that we do at Florida Conservation Voters is all about building power to protect our living planet and to make our communities more sustainable, thriving, and healthy for everyone who calls Florida home. Building that kind of power takes a lot, and it requires a broad coalition of people united in fighting back against polluters and against the developers who've really been tightening their grip, their control over our democratic institutions and destroying our environment, unfortunately, here in Florida for decades. So FCV's Chispa work is going to be centered at the intersection of social justice and environmental protection. We're super excited that this work is led by our program director, Maria Reyes, and our other staff on her team, who you'll be meeting in just a few minutes, includes our communications manager, Crisia Lopez Arce, and our digital organizer, Jesus Reynoso. So let's meet the team. Yay!
Hello, Aliki. Good morning.
Good morning, Maria. It's so nice to see you. We're so excited to have you. You have had such an incredible experience as an organizer and as an advocate for people and our environment. And I couldn't be more excited for people to get to know you here a little bit. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Aliki. First of all, I'm so excited to be leading this wonderful team. Yes, I have a little bit of experience, and during my 30 years in global, national, and state level organizing, I mostly have worked to unite communities around faith, labor, racial, social justice, and also environmental issues. I have worked in the past with the United Food and Commercial Workers, the previously before the merger, Unite Union, Service Employee International Union, and I was also director of Vamos por Puerto Rico, which is a network of different leaders who fight for a better future around Puerto Rico. Here in Florida, I have worked in voter engagement. I have worked globally around COVID response. And also about women's equality and also in international solidarity initiatives. So I'm really excited about bringing those experience, those knowledge, those networks, and those friends, really, those allies, into the conservation voter movement also.
That's really exciting, Maria. And relationships are so important in this work. We couldn't be more excited for you to be leading this effort. We've thought for a long time, Florida Conservation Voters is a new organization, but we recognize that we cannot collectively make the right or even strategic decisions about how we're going to achieve our mission or fulfill our mission without really understanding and acting on how racism operates in our democracy and in our communities. So with your inclusive leadership style and your deep experience, you're really the perfect person to help build this long-term, durable community power. It's year-round community work, and I don't think anyone would disagree with what I'm about to say, and that is that it's more important than ever that groups like ours invest in this work. In Florida in particular, you know better than I, right, that Puerto Rican communities, Dominican, Haitian, and other communities of color are disproportionately harmed by pollution, disproportionately harmed by the disruption of our natural systems, and by the impacts of the climate crisis. So Chispa Florida, I know in partnership with existing social and racial justice organizations, many of which you've already been working with for a long, long time, will bring Latino and Black voices to the decision-making table at every level of government. And importantly, really importantly, within our own organization and our own conservation voter movement.
Absolutely, you're right about all of that. Our communities have no shortage of needs. There is so much need. There is so much going on. There is so much issues, and that's why basically since starting to do this program in December, we had to hit the ground running. In Chispa, Florida, we already begin engaging with Central Florida communities with the Connected in Crisis campaign. And this is a campaign that's really looking for support Floridians that are facing a disproportionately high energy burden, and now because of COVID-19 have faced utility disconnections. But also in Chispa, we are working on the Advance to the Florida Conservation Voters Educational Fund, the Clean Buses for Healthy Niños program, which is looking to get upgrades for electric buses in our school service and our school systems that service our communities. I know by experience that the Latinx community wants to act on the climate justice issues because they are impacted deeply. They are impacted disproportionately. So the way we envision Chispa is to be that vehicle to bring impacted Floridians from their pain to power, from mobilizing Florida's ever-growing climate refugee community, but also bringing attention and awareness about environmental issues to Spanish-speaking audiences that not all the time are having this conversation that impacts them so deeply in their own language. And that's an issue. Access to this communications needs to be, cut down. And we know that Chispa, Florida can be that vehicle. At the end of the day, we're going to be based in equity, justice, and healthy communities for all.
That's so exciting. Thank you so much, Maria, for sharing that. And so for everybody who's catching this video on whatever platforms we're posting them on, we are going to be dropping a few links, including to our website, where you can learn more about the Chispa program. We're going to be including a link to sign up for the Chispa Florida newsletter if you want to keep up with what's going on, all things Chispa. And I know later on, we're also going to be sharing more about our upcoming launch. So I know a lot of folks in our networks, conservation voters around the state, are really interested in learning more about the issues you were just talking about, Maria, and staying up to date on Chispa Florida's work. And of course, meeting the team, which I think you can introduce.
Yes, yeah, we're going to talk about all of those issues in our official launch event that is going to happen next week on February 4 at 4 p.m. But I want you all to know the rest of our team. We have our communications manager, Crisia Lopez Arce, and our digital organizer, Jesus Reynoso, that are going to be joining us.
Excellent. Yay. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hello, Chispa, Florida. Good morning.
Hello, hello.
Crisia and Jesus, just to start this conversation, how much do you ensure the success and the maximum impact of Florida's work? You're an amazing team, and we are so lucky to have you on this team. I would like Crisia to introduce yourself and talk to us about your passions and projects.
Hi, yo. My name is Crisia Lopez Arce. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I moved here after Hurricane Maria, so I know for sure what is with climate change impact your community, your island. So I'm very proud to be here working for the community. um, my background in communications, I graduated for the Universidad de Cerrado Corazon at Santurce. That's like a college focused on communications and everything about media. And I was work as a radio producer in Puerto Rico, but when I moved here, my world changed because my mission was like work with the community, and I began to work with the Puerto Rican community that came after Hurricane Maria too. So that's been my journey since 2017 when I moved here in October until now. But now I'm more excited because I'm actually working on, policy and to change the system, about all the climate issues that are impacting us. And I'm happy, and I have the intention to work for those climate refugees that are coming not only from Puerto Rico but for Central America too. Because when you move here, you feel so lost because this is not your country, the system is different, and you are like, "What I'm going to do now?" So I hope that Chispa could be like a tool for them. When they came here, they can came to our office, they can go there, and we can help them through the system and help them to thrive here in Florida.
That's awesome, Crisia. Pero you mentioned something that's really very important, and I think that's core to our own story because you yourself was impacted by climate change when
Mhm.
you mentioned Hurricane Maria. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about a little bit more about that.
Well, since I grew up, hurricanes in Puerto Rico happens not every year, but I don't know, 2 years, every 2 years, every 3 years, every 5 years. Where I remember when I was 11 years old, Hurricane George impacted us, and it was a lot, but it was not like Maria. Maria destroyed the island completely. We were not prepared at all because maybe the media. I know that there's a lot of grassroots climate organizations at the island that do their work like us, but this is not like a topic that the media spoke every day in Puerto Rico. So when that came, it was like they destroy us. The island need to like rebuild again, and our people is very resilient, but we were not prepared because you're not prepared for a catastrophe like that, right? So for me, it's important to educate the community because unfortunately, I don't think this is going to stop. But if we're prepared, it will be a little bit different, I think. So that's what I want to do now, right? Like educate the community, provide them the tools and everything.
Yeah, it's important, Tricia, that especially that women like you bring your voices, raise your voices because our voices need to be heard. And also, we have our digital organizing, Jesus Reynoso, who also have a past in organizing, and he's now our digital organizing. Welcome, Jesus. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, y'all. My name is Jesus Reynoso. Um, I'm a digital organizer for Chispa, Florida. I'm driven by a deep love for my community, and I enjoy applying creative and innovative digital tools to help people engage with their neighbors and elected officials. So I've basically been organizing since I was a kid. It's including helping feed the homeless people and coordinating clothing drives for families in my parents' home country because they're from the Dominican Republic, but I was born in New York City. I moved to Central Florida when I was about 12, and moving to Florida was really like a culture shock for me. And going from a busy city to the rural fields of St. Cloud, Florida, where I live now. But to get used to my new community, I got involved with the Hispanic community to kind of help remove the barriers and to young people's success. And so empowering communities including voter engagement and keeping folks' houses housed and fed.
That's quite an interesting experience, Jesus, and it really touched the wider message of Chispa, right? So many of our social and environmental issues are really connected. They're really interconnected, and it also takes different kinds of organizing to take us where we want to be, to make a real impact.
Yeah, so completely agree with you. Along with knocking doors and making phone calls, I enjoy using creativity to help share and tell other stories. I consider myself like a multifaceted entrepreneur. I specialize in like content creation, marketing, and management. And I was an entrepreneur since a kid. At 16, I started my first business, which was a social media marketing company. And I got my associate's degree at Valencia College, all while still running it. At the end of the day, I feel like it's my purpose to do whatever I can in this lifetime to help educate people on the importance of unity and helping others.
We are so fortunate to have all three of you, Crisia, Jesus, Maria, on the FCB team. I feel like lighter today knowing that the Chispa Florida program is going to be launching next week. It's really just the beginning, and you all have accomplished so much so far in such a short period of time. Maria, you mentioned efforts earlier on about helping with COVID-19 related utility disconnections, and also, our advocacy, our push to bring more clean electric buses to schools in Florida's most populated places. Can you tell us a little bit more, now that we've met the team, can you tell us a little bit more about those campaigns and some of your upcoming plans?
Yeah, absolutely. Chispa Florida builds on the power of the low-income Latinx and other BIPOC communities, like you mentioned, recently displaced, climate change refugees, Spanish speakers, Afro-Latinx, Haitians, basically across Florida to achieve climate justice, community health, and environmental protections, and also to demand accountability from polluters and decision makers. As you know, Aliki, people are suffering right now. COVID-19 has caused deaths, job losses, evictions, and utility disconnections. No one deserves to have their power turned off during a pandemic. And the weak programs offered by utilities don't even scratch the surface of the solutions that we need, especially for Florida's undocumented residents. This is people that are really struggling to get out of the bad situation that COVID has put us in a service economy. With our partners in Connected in Crisis Coalitions, we have been pushing state leaders to issue a moratorium and help with the mountains of debt accruing across states. It is a major issue. Nearly 200,000 households and businesses have been disconnected from their power. That's not only morally wrong to leave people on the dark, but it's also dangerous, especially for people who have health issues, for children, for the elderly, for all the most vulnerable sectors of our community. And also in the energy space, we are continuing the work that the Florida Conservation Voters Education Fund started 2 years ago with the Clean Buses for Healthy Niños campaign. Now that the DEP has launched the grant program and resources, we have been educating and pushing school district leaders, having meetings with school board members to take advantage on the funds available. We held a webinar last week, and we are in communication with the DOP on how many clean electric buses we can start to see in our communities. And as for yesterday, as of yesterday, some of the Florida's biggest counties applied for assisted school buses and bus. So we were very excited when those numbers came, and we saw that, those places where we are organizing, we're having those webinars, we're calling the school board members, they are moving, they're applying, they're looking for change.
Yeah, that's super exciting because this work is so important. The schools are ready. they've been under-resourced for so long, and the dirty old diesel buses that so many school districts have to rely on have such terrible health impacts on kids, higher rates of asthma. And so it's super important work, super exciting for your leadership in this space, and would love to know, how can conservation voters learn more? How can folks learn more about Chispa Florida?
Of course, of course. I actually invite all of you to learn more about our website in the Chispa page, which is inside of the Florida Conservation Voters. So you're going to find us at fcvvoters.org/Chispa Florida. And also you can subscribe to our emails in English and Spanish. Here you're going to see a link to FCV Rocks, Chispa sign up. And of course, we are in Facebook, we're Instagram, and we are in Twitter. And also you can join us for our official launch next week. Join our Chispa Florida launch party on February 4 at 4 p.m. so you can learn more about how Florida Latinx community can get involved in the fight against environmental racism. February 4 is also Transit Equity Day, which is a day about inclusion and about fairness in transit systems. And we can't wait to talk about how Chispa Florida Energy will work. And I think there are going to be some links. And I don't know, we have Crisia here. Maybe Crisia can talk a little bit more about the event.
Yeah,
we
exciting.
will have an MC. Like, I can say Daniela Drost, she's like a radio host, TV host. She's famous in Puerto Rico. Now she's living here in Orlando, and she's working here too. So she will be with us. She's a climate refugee too. She moved here after Hurricane Maria, so she knows. She's here because there's an intention, right? That's why she's our MC. We will have music. We will have elected officials. Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith will be with us. He's a fighter, and he's also our champion now. So we are very excited for February 4th. So join us, stay with us, share your stories, and join us that day. So I'm excited.
Yes, we're going to have Daniela. We're going to have a performer live. Jesus, is there something else that you want to tell the people that is listening to us about February 4, our launch?
You guys covered a lot of it, to be honest, but I'm just super excited for the day itself.
We had an
There's
Instagram live,
surprises for people. There's a lot of surprises for the people. We can't wait to launch. It's going to be an amazing year. We plan on making a lot of change and doing everything that we can to make sure that people are being treated fairly and equally all over Florida. So you guys tune in February 4th. It's going to be a it's going to be a great launch and a great year. And I hope that everybody is able to connect.
Definitely, Jesus y Crisia, thank you. And yeah, like Crisia was mentioning, they are Facebook lives coming, their Instagram live story. We're gonna have some socially distanced, very careful in-person things that we're looking to do now that we have our wonderful office in Kissimmee, Florida. So we know that 2021 is gonna come with a lot of growth in store for all of us, for Chispa Florida, for the Florida conservational voters, and for all of us individually, as staff, as organizer, as a community. We are inspired, we are motivated, and it brings me personally a lot of hope and a lot of joy to be able to start Chispa Florida. This program really comes from the needs of our Latinx community that wants to act on climate justice that impacts us so deeply. Climate justice, climate change is impacting our communities every day. And for Florida conservation voters, not only this is moving forward in the most progressive agenda in terms of climate change protections, but it's also investing in this organizing program to eliminate barriers and supports leadership in communities of color. low-income communities, working families, making policy decisions and solutions. If we really want to protect our environment, it will only happen through communities of care and connection, and we all can be the change that we want to see.
That's really well said, Maria. And I rarely find myself speaking on behalf of others, but in this moment, I do think I can speak for conservation voters when I say that we can't wait to see the great things coming from Chispa Florida and the really incredible impact on Florida communities. The work that you're doing is so incredibly needed, like we've talked about today. And I appreciate every single one of you and all that you're going to be doing. I want to thank all of our members, Florida Conservation Voter members, our advocates, all of our volunteers who are tuning in. It's going to be an incredibly fun and uplifting event next week, February 4th at 4 p.m. Be there, tell your friends, invite your friends and family. And with that, just thank you all very much. Thanks for tuning in and hope to see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.